get started.
Okay.
And first on the agenda is to find out if there's any additions to be made to the agenda.
So,
See something written down.
well, based on the posted agenda, which just stated budget, we need to add personnel, executive session. We need to add a conversation about the armory. We need to add decision on how to hold town meeting. And we need to add the recreation director nomination. Yeah.
I'll second.
Okay, so, I'd probably made a motion to add personnel executive, armory, whether or not to hold, how to help, we're gonna do how we are going to do the town meeting. And rec nominee,
Yes.
here, second on. Any more discussion? As none, all in favor of those additions, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. And then besides, addition of the B&B, they, my tongue's tripping up on me tonight. So it looks to be a small print, we have budget first. Is that a specific budget or ambulance budget or?
Ambulance budget. We have Ginger and Andrew here with us.
I see it's 6:30 to 7, it already has a personnel executive session. Is that a different one than we just added?
Well, the original warning that was posted just had budget. That was it.
Nothing else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Did you talking about?
Of the budget?
I wasn't sure if you were gonna make changes, so I didn't print them.
There
I only have the one, other one. I need that one myself.
Yeah.
Can you share with Ginger?
What's,
Copies.
hold on, I can't hear.
There's some copies.
Okay, go Larry.
Because we need to give Bakersfield an answer on the request that they had. with ambulance contract. Basically, they want to go 5 years instead of 3. But,
Oh. Did you discuss with them that the ARPA funds only went for 3?
yes, it did.
And they still want to go 5?
Yeah, but they wanted to go a lower percentage, and I told them I didn't think that was gonna work, but, I can't see why we can't do 3 years as normal, with all the other 10 towns have been offered, and then maybe the 1% decrease on the annual increase.
Oh, I see.
They wanted a 1% all across the board, but I think they would have satisfied with 0.5% decrease. So that would essentially be 0.5% for year 4 and 5 are at 1% decrease in the increase.
Oh, okay. So let me just make sure I have this right. So, for 3 years, it's going to be the rate that we offered. And then on the 4th year, it'll be a 0.5 decrease on, no,
Do 1%.
1%.
They're asking for 2.
Okay. So 1% at year 4, 1% at year 5. But that, oh.
I
Oh,
think we're at 3.
So you're saying 1% decrease, he's saying 2, you're both right, but you're just saying it differently.
okay. By year 5, a 2% decrease.
4 and 5.
4, so a 2% at 4 and a 2% at 5?
But not a decrease, an increase, so instead of like, cause each year we're going up, we go 3%,
Yeah.
so it's gonna go 2%,
Exactly.
2%. I don't, they have one.
I've got one on back up.
3% all
I'll
across
look
the
at the
town.
last pages.
I see, okay, I see what you're saying.
From year 1 to 3, the per capita is not gonna change if we keep on the same with them. They wanted that decrease,
I need to make a changes.
Right?
but nobody's gone beyond 4 or 5, so we feel comfortable to do just a 2%. And I told them that that's why we only did 3 years of the effort.
Right.
We extended for 3 years.
Okay. So year 4 and 5, they would be, so let me, again, excuse me if I'm slow. So 4 and 5 would be an increase of 2% rather than the 3. Did I get that right?
Correct.
Correct, okay. Okay, I think I'm okay with that. How do you feel about that, Pierre?
I still say, me personally, I think we should stick to the three-year contract, and then we're gonna renegotiate.
Well, I think they're giving a little, so I think it's good to give them.
Yeah.
They're giving, we're giving. And it's,
I think we should review this and not make a decision. Right.
For the 5.
Actually, Berkshire's asking for just a 1, so.
That's why I say we stick to the 3.
Of course, which is not a bad thing if you had town staggered out, so you're not gonna fight every.
Right, exactly.
Every year.
That's what I was thinking.
Municipality.
Basically, we have it locked in for 5.
yeah, and Montgomery's on an off year, so we're already off with one, so it's a
Yeah.
good thing to stagger.
Montgomery's done next year.
Yeah.
So if you do a 5 at Bakersfield, I think Montgomery, Bakersfield.
And we're still getting an increase. It's a 2% increase versus their 3.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think personally we should wait.
I think the ship could sail.
No,
'Cause I
the
also-
ship isn't gonna sail.
Once the ARPA funds are done, it's not like you guys are gonna drop the per capita because they don't.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a
ARPA
2%.
funds.
It's a,
Select board. Okay.
Phil.
No.
Steve,
hi, Dean.
Dean.
Dean just walked in.
Do you have a,
how can you not know Dean's name?
Thank you.
here,
Did they need an answer tonight, Larry, or are we in discussion on this?
what do you want tonight?
They're meeting Wednesday, although it's just budget, but they want to decide. They had other offers on the table.
I guess he'll be the.
So let me loop Dean in on this.
All I know is there's fire chief.
So Bakersfield would like a 5-year contract. The understanding is that they, for the 3 years, they would be running at the per capita we have proposed, but that
Yeah.
year 4 and 5, it would only
That's why
be
I
a
say no.
2% increase each year instead of a 3. Pierre wants to sit on it. I feel I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it too. I think
Yeah.
it's close enough.
I have information, but I don't know if the information was an executive decision in Bakersfield. All I
Mary, I
know,
sent you a text.
all I know is I have a meeting tomorrow night as fire chief.
Okay. So if that's,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, but
and we start making exceptions,
we're not,
Phil. You might need to make some.
I don't know if that's an
all the ducks in a row.
oh, it's Phil. Our ducks are getting in a row.
What's going on?
Oh,
All the ducks are at least.
yeah. The thing is this is what they could counter. They can come back with something different.
Out of the road here?
I know, but that's what I'm
Already made
saying.
4 out
If
of
that
mess
could
for you, Phil.
So let me loop Phil in this conversation.
Explain it again.
Okay, see if I get it right. So Bakersfield needs a decision on the ambulance on our, how we're gonna proceed with the ambulance contract. They wanna go 5 years opposed to the 3 years. They agreed to the first, so the 3 years for the per capita that we've asked for.
Sorry.
Wow, racy.
I was like, somebody's making.
That's me, already.
So, year 4 and 5 would be a 2% increase each year versus a 3%, exactly. How do you feel about that?
Well, at least they're locking in for 5.
That's kind of
You know.
where we were sitting. Pierre thinks we should sit on it.
How does it work for, at the end of 3 years when
We're
we,
doing the numbers right now.
like at the end of 3 years when we're redoing contracts with these other towns, are we obligated to what we did in Bakersfield with or not?
Yeah, that's a good question. Did you hear Dean's question?
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah,
Larry?
I
that's
mean,
why,
it should be, should be straight across the board,
Yeah.
really.
that's why we should
Okay.
stick to the 3 years and then we need to renegotiate.
Yep.
Yeah, but if Montgomery's up next year, they're still gonna be out another, unless we only do a 2-year contract with Montgomery.
It's peers.
And then we're negotiating with everybody at the same time. Or you stagger them. And you're negotiating at different times.
Yeah, little brown.
Just,
Yeah.
just to give you an rough idea, I'm not
Okay.
gonna say the total numbers,
Okay?
the contact numbers, but year 1, year 5 would be, in this scenario we're offering them, year 5 would be a $3.32 increase from what we're asking them for this.
Okay. So,
This is yours. Yeah, he says to put it in.
Right,
but
because,
year 4 and 5.
right, because you're getting more out of them in the 3% every year.
That, even a 2%.
Right, so you're
Yeah.
only losing really, you're only losing in, you're not even losing, you're gaining basically 1%, right, in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you go 3% for 3 years and then 2%, you're losing 1% for those 2 years, goes back to, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And the thing is, our expenses go up.
Am I, you see what I'm
Yeah,
going
no,
with?
I got you. You're losing a percent every year.
Well,
'cause
you're
it's
only
2.
gaining 1,
Only gaining 1.
I think, I mean, doesn't it
Can
kinda,
you turn him up? I can't hear.
We're not gonna have,
Andrew,
we're not gonna have a bill for the monitors anymore. How many years are those on?
We have 2 payments left on the Zoll. One's paid for, and then we have 2 on the Zoll. No, yeah,
This is
no,
one-
Striker.
That's one payment.
Yeah,
So do the life pack.
so we have 11,873 in 22, and then the same next year.
And then the other thing is if we can do our ambulance like we were talking about, just the chassis instead of the whole thing. So your new payments shouldn't be as high as what they have been in the past going forward. Because we shouldn't have to pay $170,000 for an ambulance.
So,
what that price was with the chassis.
where is that? Oh, yeah. So then I'm wondering, do
Yeah.
we talk about it in executive so we
Can
can
we-
actually talk numbers?
I think,
Yeah,
We've got, I mean, we can set this aside
You
until,
want us-
no.
well,
So-
this evening, we can come back to it.
Yeah, let's,
Let's come back to it.
well, when he says come back to it, he means talking about it in executive session so we can actually talk numbers.
Okay.
Okay? So let's do that when
Yeah,
we,
I just wanna make sure we got an answer tonight
Yeah.
because they expect. the
exactly.
answer. One way or the other.
Okay. Exactly,
they're our only other competitor.
right.
We kinda got them,
Or unless they counter.
I guess, but they're gonna drop $20.
No, true. We'll see. Okay, so, oh, but,
So we're gonna go into executive?
no, we're gonna do the budget, I think, right,
Do we have an
Larry?
agenda?
That might be correct.
Yeah, budget for,
Yeah.
Ambulance budget?
You wanna know what the rebound price was?
Yeah.
142,985, and that was quoted back June 30th of last year.
What was that?
142,
985 for for the remount.
Oh,
That
985.
was June of last year, so that price probably has
Yeah, but
increased.
we're gonna get fancy because we don't always have to go right to the top dog to do something. You know, I'm sure some companies, maybe
Oh,
we
yeah.
can find some deal somewhere else and
I know we can,
soften the blow off.
I know we can go right through Ford. We did that in Georgia with our
Yeah,
brush
we
truck,
have-
we remounted.
Ford will do it?
Yep, Ford will, you can buy the actual chassis right from Ford,
And we have that,
and we. you can
municipalities
remount it
have
for
that
somebody
special
else.
package that you're, I forget what the name of it is.
Yep.
Maybe we should look into
That's the
that.
thing
then.
I keep thinking about is,
Mhm.
if your miles keep going, this box is gonna be okay.
Right,
So it's just a matter of getting the two changed around, and yeah, you probably have to update a few things, paint something here and there, but, it shouldn't be,
What was the
I
new
would think you
price?
do that underneath $100,000.
I don't have a new price, but I know Robert's up this,
Probably not right now, maybe
yeah, maybe one
once the
seventy
pandemic
something.
gets down a little bit more and
For a
things
new
catch
year,
up, or there's more supply on hand of vehicles.
186. I know it's quite more now, probably well over 200 for brand new everything.
Okay, let's see here.
But I know Robert is up this week, so I can,
Yeah, see if that's changed in.
I wish he had been up on Saturday and Sunday, so I bet he missed that cold weather.
Right, that's what I was wondering.
Alright, let's go through the budget.
okay.
And BJ, the per capitas in the 2022 are based on, are proposed?
The proposed 3%.
Okay. Thank you.
So basically, that's a pretty negative number on the top, huh?
I'm going to say it was worse a couple months ago, so it is a big number, but it's better than it was.
And, I mean, quite a bit of that is overtime too. Well, I mean, we're 13,000 over in salaries this year. So. And some other places.
Alright, let's go down through the per capitas, are these the new rate?
Yep,
Yes.
Okay, now how does that work, because the town's contracts don't run out until March and July, so.
Oh, that's
there's
true.
gonna be a partial,
We didn't factor that in, that's something we're going to have to look at, because so it will be lower on all of these. That's my mistake, I
You
should have
gotta,
thought
yeah,
about it.
that's what I'm saying, you're gonna lose a lot of revenue for a quarter and half a year.
The only one that would be accurate is Montgomery and, no. Not Enosburgh, because we don't start until after town meeting
I
either.
think Franklin's is up in April,
Nope,
no,
July.
is it July?
July,
And
they
then
go on a school
Fiscal.
year
the
budget.
fiscal year.
Let me you can go down through I have the contracts with me, I'll,
I can program my computer and pull them up too. So I think with Bakersfield is March or April, Harsher's around that time too.
you want to circle back to that.
Circle back, so you want us to do the expenses first?
So might as well jump into salaries.
Salaries.
Yeah.
Okay, so the salary is based on the proposed wages. I presented to you wages per capita price. If you look at the first page, behind the actual budget, that's a breakdown of all the salaries with each employee. It shows what the new proposed base rate would be starting at if they were newly hired. Then it shows their years with Enosburgh. I capped it at 10 years, only because what I did was I gave everybody a 0.01% increase. And if I, for say Kelly example, she's been here 18 years. So I've been giving her an 18% increase quite a bit. just to kind of make it even across the board. So if the next one is the new base rate, those would be the new base starting rates for everybody, beginning of the budget. And then it breaks it down, I broke it down to how many hours a week each person works, on average. And then if they had factored in overtime, like the three of us, full-timers have 8 hours overtime factored in every week, that's there. Figured out the total pay and then the total for each year. Came up with a total base rate of $329,512. So rounded up to $330.
So, but not all of them are at, so you're saying Kelly's the only one that's not at .01?
No, she is. Everybody got a 0.01% increase for every year
Oh, for
they were
every,
here. So I capped it at 10 years. So like Kelly's been here 18 years, some others have been here almost 20 years. So instead of, giving them a 20% increase on that base rate to kind of keep it down, but around the range of everybody else, I capped it at 10 years. This does not include a 3% increase for the fiscal year, because that comes mid-year anyways. So this would be the beginning of the year rate, and then obviously each year there's usually 3% cost of living tacked onto payroll.
On top of these increases you're already talking about?
It's not in here, so this wouldn't be.
So you're thinking there's gonna be another 3% after we go through this?
If they do the 3% increase. I know we got a 3% increase mid-year last year.
Well, it was after town meeting, it's
After
not really
town,
mid-year.
yeah.
wait, you said .01%?
Yeah. Or sorry, it should be 0.1%.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're not even giving him a penny? Okay,
Yeah,
there you
it
go,
should be
okay.
it should be a 1% increase. So,
Wait,
1% for each
for
year?
each year, yeah,
So 10 years, they'd get a 10%?
10%. On top of the new proposed base rate, which has been bold.
Okay.
And then the base rate on the other side is what that number would be their starting rate.
And this is including getting rid of the $18 an hour on, or you haven't gotten there yet?
Oh, where did I put that?
Sorry, I jumped to that.
Oh, in the green folder. It's in there. So with this, there'd be a change to the weekend rate proposal. Which I have it in here, I guess not. Instead of on the weekends, so Friday night, Saturday, right now we currently pay everybody $18 an hour. Instead of doing that, what I'm proposing is to pay $2 an hour on top of their new base rate for weekends from Friday through Sunday. So that will cover whoever works the weekends, they're only getting $2 more an hour instead of everybody getting 18 across the board. Because some people right now, if they're an EMT and they work the weekends, they have a $5 increase. So instead, they'll get, with this new rate, the new EMTs are starting out at $15. They'll get 17 for the weekend. And then myself, if I were to pick up a weekend shift, it'd be $2 more on top of my base rate, or Ginger, or
And I think almost everybody here, has to
Everybody.
pay $18 an hour thing needs to go on the weekend.
so, would that be?
So if I work with an EMT and all they do is drive, they're gonna make the same amount of money as me running all the calls and.
because she's already making over 18, so she doesn't get any.
I don't, the
Right.
weekend thing doesn't matter to me personally,
Right.
I mean,
But
I'm here all the time anyway.
if it was overtime, that would
So it'd
be a moot
time.
point. It wouldn't be $2 on top of the overtime.
It'd be more.
It would be the $2 on top of the base rate, but then that new base rate would be a time and a half, which is currently how it's done now. So right now, everybody who works the weekends gets the $18 if they're below, but if it's overtime, it's time and a half at $18.
Yeah.
So you're bumping a 50, the EMT
Right,
is making
yeah,
50,
right.
it's only going up to 17.
Right.
but not many, I'm the only one who's into overtime by the weekend.
Right. Either you, me, or Jess, usually.
And Jess
Because
only
we're
works,
scheduled
I was
for
gonna
40
say-
Jess
hours
only
a
works
week.
one Saturday a month or whatever it is.
Every other Saturday.
Oh,
Everybody
really?
else is EMT, yeah. I'm here, I literally have been here since 6 AM Friday with a 12-hour break Saturday day.
Yes.
So I'm putting in 84 hours from Friday to Sunday. But the new pay week starts on Sunday, so it's not all one paycheck.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Do you have, do you have last month's schedule and this month's schedule?
I do, I can print them off.
Yeah. If you could bring that in, that'd be good.
Yeah, I can grab those.
Perfect.
But like Ken Pigeon, he's worked
He works
Sundays
every Sunday.
since
Here, we're-
beginning of time.
When I
Right.
started in February, he was working Sunday, Monday, Tuesdays. But then he cut back his hours to only Sundays. I know he was a big one about the $18 only on Saturdays. He works his weekend and he's not getting any more than anybody else.
Okay, let's
Well,
keep
we
rolling and we'll come back to that one.
So then social security is gonna follow the same thing.
Right?
Yep.
Health
Insurance will
insurance,
follow the
same.
same
But I
thing.
think, I think we're
so-
also asking though, even if you don't increase the base pay, that we still get rid of the $18 an hour.
Right, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So now you're,
So,
Oh, wait.
you got base rate and new base rate. Those aren't what they actually are getting right now, are they?
No. No, we have not adjusted anybody's base rate because the budget hasn't been approved. This will go into effect once the
No.
budget's approved.
No, this base rate, is this currently what they're making?
No.
Oh,
That is the new proposed starting base
then I
rate.
thought this was the new base
EMTs
rate.
are well under $15 an hour.
So this new base rate over here
Yeah,
is for current employees. So everybody listed here is current employees.
okay.
So this rate here includes that 1% increase for how many years they've been
Wait,
here.
base rate?
That base rate there
okay.
would be if you're, say I hired a new EMT, they would get 15 an hour.
Okay, let me,
So this listed here is just a list of all current employees and what their new base rates would be. This first column just shows you what I started out at as a new general base rate for
so this
everybody.
weekly hours is what they're currently making?
currently do, yes.
Okay.
Or on the
Well,
schedule.
It could not be any more confusing
I know.
had you tried.
Oh,
Because I don't understand the base.
So the base rate is with the new
rate
budget,
myself.
if you got hired tomorrow, an EMT will make $15 an hour. Currently, they make what, $12.50 an hour?
13.
13.
so
Well,
with the
15.
new which is what we're trying to figure out,
Right.
so
That
that
would be
you're
the
saying
base
the
rate.
new base is bumping that up even further than what's on this paper?
No.
No.
No,
No, it's all including the free
Yeah.
cash.
So if you're a brand new EMT, say this budget gets approved, you're a brand new EMT, you wanna
Yeah.
get hired, you will start at $15 an hour.
If this-
But because I have been here for 5 years, when the budget gets approved, I will make $19.95 an hour.
right. But the thing is that this paper,
So this doesn't
one-
show any new
Yeah.
hires.
This one right
Right.
here is what they're getting,
Right now.
is what they're making right now. This
No.
one right,
No.
No.
This one right here, I know, totally confusing.
Yeah.
Weekly hours, that's what they're making right now. And he wants to eventually get them up to the new base rate. Am I correct in that?
If the budget gets approved, this will be people's pay.
right, but the thing is,
But there's-
today, as of today, right now,
New bait, there's
this
of-
current,
as of
this
today,
current
two
rate
increases.
right here is what? What's this piece of paper right
Current pay
here?
rate,
This piece of paper,
Current wages.
is this the
Yes.
current wages?
this current pay rate is what everybody right now currently is making.
Okay, Larry,
There's another.
take a look at the one that's current wages.
Where does
Okay.
it
He
say
doesn't
that?
have it because I didn't have this, I didn't send it to him.
I see.
So this is the one they're making
Picture
right
and send
now.
it to you?
Can you go in
Can
the
you-
office
can you put it in
and send
the
that to him
paper?
right now?
Wanna take a picture and send it to you? I don't have your number though.
Take a picture.
I don't have
No,
that
I'll
one.
take a picture.
You don't have that one?
No, I don't have that one.
All right,
I don't, maybe I do, hold
This
on.
was attached to the.
flip the page.
You got it, BJ?
Yeah, oh, Holy hell. Okay.
Okay, this is what everybody's,
Okay, so which one are you looking at?
Current
Current
rate.
rate,
We
current
should've
wages.
started with this page.
This one?
yes, that's what we should have started.
Yes.
This is
Okay.
what we should've started with.
Yeah, this one.
Mixed up.
So now,
That's what the proposed new.
Okay, and current rate, and then
Where's the page?
we're
Yeah.
going over to this one?
yes,
Proposed.
yes,
Proposed.
To proposed base rate.
which is that rate?
No, he's saying it's this one.
So,
No. We- Yes,
I have this one, but I.
New starting base rate.
Did you give me three?
Then what the heck is
Did take my
that?
paper. It's confusing enough. Trying to play tricks on me.
So he wants to start with the new base rate, but then give us credit for our years of service.
right, so.
So new base, so you have two increases built into that. Okay.
yes,
Yes.
yes. Yes,
Oh,
so basically
okay.
it's bumping them up to currently what, to try to match what other services in the area have.
So there are two increases.
Right.
So now let me ask you the question. The increase on this budget line includes both increases?
Correct.
Okay, there we go, both increases.
Because the way I coordinated the way I calculated this proposed budget, this proposal here, was I took the new base rate to bring everybody up to what everybody
Yeah,
else in
now
town
I
years,
get it.
and added the years of service.
Got you.
That way somebody who's here 10 years isn't making the same as a new hire.
Correct.
Is what he's trying to say.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. I gotcha.
So 10,000 more than last year.
Okay,
So you're just basing it on a number, not on, help me out here. Performance. Correct.
Correct.
It was supposed to be based on performance, somewhat.
Well, we're gonna get back to that.
yeah, okay,
And these
Because-
are all, like I said, nobody has been changed, because obviously budget hasn't been,
Because that's-
been approved.
Right.
So these all, we can look at just the new base rate to match everybody in the district, so that we're even with Amcare and Enosburgh and them for a starting base rate for somebody. And then we can look at if we wanna increase people's base rates more or not. This is just a proposal I had, I'm more than willing to flex.
I was saying, some of these people are only making less than $14 an hour, that, up to, that's like $1.10 raise, that's huge.
Right.
That's not your usual
right.
cost of
What-
living.
Right, and
raise.
some of
True.
these people are just drivers. They're certified, but they only drive.
Right. Just for the record, though, sometimes it's apples and oranges when benefits are included. So if you're gonna compare somebody who works at Missisquoi, who was making more but doesn't have benefits, it's kind of an apples and orange conversation.
So I do have Missisqua's base rate for full-time and per diem staff.
Which I don't think I really need to see,
Right.
because again, it's apples and oranges at this
And they're
point.
not really getting benefits as Andrew and Jess, correct?
Correct.
Oh, the full-time.
I don't have health insurance and stuff.
But that's because you chose not to
Right,
take
right,
it,
right,
and
right, right,
because
right.
of it,
No, but,
you
no,
have
but my
more
question
money,
was, the
yeah.
only one getting full-time benefits is, well, I get my days and stuff, so I see what you're saying.
You have
Right.
benefits
I,
based
you
on
say
being a full-time,
benefits, and I
yeah,
automatically think health
exactly.
insurance.
No,
That's all I care about, I have health insurance.
Exactly,
Oh,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
all
yeah.
that one down.
Right, right.
Okay,
So yes,
so just now I wanna be super clear before we talk, okay.
so yeah, and basically what I would like to see is the base rate that's in bold that there.
Okay.
That's what I would like to see. If we choose to go with the added years of service, great. If not, we choose to do something else or not do anything, I'm okay with that. But what I would like to see is our rates go up to what the proposed base rates are. Or to
Well,
match.
This is basically how I see it working. Yeah, the new base rates, that'd be a great idea and stuff, but these budgets, we're working with the towns that support the salaries are 3% increases, and our town employees, our road crews, everybody else, that's what they get every year, 2 or 3%.
Right.
So I can't see,
Those are for.
that's doing a huge thing and another huge thing,
Right.
not equal to the other employees that are serving the town.
Right. That's what I'm saying, like, you know, all in all, what I would like to see is just that first, bringing our base rate up to
That's the
match the rest of
change.
the district.
From when the
thing.
contracts.
You know,
Basically, Larry, what
That'll be
most
the
of the
new-
That's what's
employees
left over
here
on it
feel
or
is
whatever,
that we should be
yeah.
making
So,
more money
'cause
saving
these don't
lives than the kids
start
across the
until
street at
middle, like,
McDonald's are making.
April, so you're not, this is for a full year,
That's
but
the
it's not.
comparison we
Yeah.
use at work all the
I
time.
realize that too,
Yeah.
but you're also comparing some to other services that they may average more calls per shift, a lot more than what we do. What are we gonna do, if we're gonna start paying our employees a lot more, what are we gonna be having our employees doing while they're not on calls? And that's what I'm thinking, we need to be meeting somewhere, it's like, let's go over Brownway for, 1 or 2 times a week for, who knows, an hour or something like that. You'll see the other services, those guys are parked on the side of the road,
Right.
sitting, waiting, they're closer than active calls, but, they're not in a very good comfort zone, so we gotta look at that too. But,
and part of
the
that,
other thing that go ahead.
and part of that, like, when I started, my biggest push was community involvement, being involved in community events and stuff like that, which we were involved in quite a few events last year, and we're looking to be more involved this year as well. We've got 3 of us that are CPR instructors, so we're really trying to get some CPR classes going to the community, doing community events, talking about getting involved with the school, doing safety day, a lot of stuff like that as well.
Have you done any CPR stuff yet with the
We
community?
haven't yet, it's something we're trying to get worked out because we're not a training center. Even though we have 3 instructors, we're not a training center, so in other words, we would fall under Bakersfield right now.
Bakersfield Fire is a community CPR instruction place, so like Bakersfield Fire, next week or the week after, is teaching 9 kids CPR at Cold Hollow. But it's Bakersfield Fire that's doing it, not Enosburgh Ambulance.
That's something that we could have picked up had we had a training center.
But if Bakersfield's already doing it,
Right.
it,
And then,
not
and
to be
Cold Hollow.
negative, but
Right,
we've
but
heard
Cold
this
Hollow
for
had
a
reached
while,
out
that
to
you're gonna
us.
do these things and it hasn't happened yet.
Right, and there's stuff that takes time, because I know with being CPR instructors, like say Enosburgh holds a CPR course, that money, if we're not a training center, we have to hire Bakersfield to come in and do it. So by us holding a course, that money is going to Bakersfield. So we have to push to get the center, us identified as the center.
You're right.
Which is, we're working on at this point.
I'm gonna speak out of turn and say Bakersfield hasn't shown any interest yet in joining forces with Enosburgh Ambulance.
Nor do you have to, but you should maybe look at the process to
We've been
become
established only
a.
for a couple of years and
center.
we're just getting the show on the road. We've been teaching local fire departments and that stuff, so we're not in a position to combine forces with anybody as of yet.
Right, you,
On the budget side, on the insurance, how come there's such a jump?
I gotta find that.
In 21, there was
Yeah,
proposed 48 and it was 59 for health insurance, and then we're going back to 46?
Well, everybody maxed out their choice cards last year, and there was a little bit of a time where there were 3 people on the insurance until the former director got done.
oh,
Now it
okay.
has changed even more because Andrew, his situation is not as it used to be, so.
Okay.
I just need that back after you write them down.
So BJ, that happened throughout all our other, like the highway and everybody else, that number was a lot higher. Everybody.
No,
maxed
it
out,
depends,
just-
it depended upon what, that card that we give everybody for their deductible and their eye care and stuff.
Yeah.
It depends on if you use it, and we have a lot of employees, there's years when they go and they don't use it, but then there's years when they max out. This happened to be a max out year for the ambulance people,
We had maternity leave.
but typically it doesn't work that way. Typically it's half and half.
Okay, I just wondered if we're gonna see that across the other budgets.
No, I don't think so.
So on the,
So, going back up the salary line, I guess I didn't hear correctly there, I think Polly asked, that 330,000 reflects the base rate or the new base rate?
the new
Oh.
base
The
rate.
new,
Both.
I didn't,
It increased,
It's
it was
both.
both your increases,
There are
right?
two
Right, so
increases. They're both.
So if they only
It's
got
the
one
base
increase,
rate, so a bump up for the base rate, and then another bump up for the
Cost
new
of living.
base rate.
That doesn't even count cost of living.
no, doesn't even count cost of living.
and that's why I said, you know, if,
So how come with your base rate you went down? I don't understand down instead of,
how do you know?
you're $20 on the base rate.
That's what I mentioned. Oh, no. Oh. I screwed up on that one.
He doesn't make $20 an hour.
I drew a brain fart, I forget.
Well, I don't understand this base rate
Yeah,
stuff,
no,
and then you
that's
throw
me.
me
Yeah.
a curveball, and I'm like, this is like,
That's a typo.
this is the new
was
math
taking one
way
for
of
a
teaching.
team.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I was cutting my salary.
Larry, you just wanna go from the health insurance and work down for now? We can come back to the salaries?
So the question I have on the salaries is you got $80,000 or whatever in overtime? What makes us believe that's gonna change?
So we won't have a full timer, which is 48 hours a week, out on maternity leave, that we know of, right now.
Not me.
would you say 48 hours a week?
Full timers work 48 hours a week.
I thought we had her on alternating 36,
36,
48,
48.
just. No?
Then, no, it changed when we got Andrew, and we were shorthanded after the changes in the administration.
Right. So since I started, all the full timers have always been at 48 hours a week.
That's
I
their
don't remember
base.
the last time I worked 48 hours.
I don't either. I don't either, but they're scheduled for 48.
Well, I guess that's the challenge of, to make these numbers work, that overtime, we understand it's gonna be, right there is average
Right.
eight, whatever. But if you have to pay, if you had somebody taking it, there's gonna be $17, $18 an hour person in that spot.
Right.
But it's still $30,000 that should be able to come out of that and go to somebody else
Right.
to pull the overtime
Some-
hours down, because,
So what he's basically saying is,
Yeah,
the
there's-
money we spent on overtime, you could
you-
actually hire somebody in
Right.
that place.
Right.
A couple of people.
Yeah,
At
I mean, at $80,000.
And,
Yeah.
and throughout the year, we have put out there to hire more per diems, and we haven't had, we've had people look at us and be like, for what you're offering, no.
But that's the point is,
That was what our base rate was
Right,
previously.
we
So my
could,
hope is with an
right.
increase in our base rates, that people will be more apt to say, okay, I'll come up and work 1-2 days a week for you. At that base rate is more reasonable. You know, $13 an hour for an EMT, when they can go sit at McDonald's, work 24 hours a week, and get $15 an hour. You know, they're gonna go where the money is. So that's my thought and my vision is that if we bump it up to meet what other services are, or around what other services are paying for the per diem staff, then we'll get some interest. I've had a couple paramedics at Amcare approach me and said, if you can pay what I'm getting paid, you know, I'll come work up there and work for you. That thing.
how come on your proposal, how come Ginger doesn't go up to on the base rate?
So her,
Research
Kinda
she
happy
did.
with it.
so on the base rate, where was,
says current rate 19 and the
Yeah.
base rate's 19.
So for base rate for an AEMT was 17,
Yeah, but she was,
and I kept mine
Oh.
at 22 as well. Well, I marked 20, but it should be 22.
for the
So
base
because she
rate.
was already well over
Okay,
the new base rate,
I see. Okay,
But the other AEMT, you bumped her a lot.
right? And I bumped her, so
Yeah.
I put her at the base rate of 17 and gave her an additional buck 25 because she's a full timer.
So how is it that you got one individual at
But she also
1476,
receives a lot of
but then yeah,
benefits.
at 1255 in a new rate?
On this one. So because that's what they are currently.
Cause he hasn't been here a year.
So on your current wages, what you're looking up here,
Yeah,
this is what the town office has listed for everybody being paid.
I know, I understand that.
I don't know why that person's at 1476 and others are at 1393.
No, but then you go through and you do the new proposal and he went down to 1255.
oh,
No, he's at 1175 right now.
yeah, he is.
Yeah,
He's
he's not a
brand-
certified member.
He is minimum wage. He is not certified. He is a driver. At minimum
Okay,
wage.
hold on a minute. Jeez,
And then we lost in the papers.
you need a straight edge.
Is he doing any training to better himself?
He's been out with COVID, so we haven't seen him in quite a while.
Yeah.
We have reached out to him,
But motivation is a problem.
hence why he's there. He doesn't work very often. Kind of just he was working when we needed him to. Hence why it's at that rate. And not any higher.
And we discovered through running a couple calls with uncertified drivers that it does not work. And we need an extra set of hands over there to get the call.
Right, you're calling in another
Yes,
person you're
and-
gonna have to pay.
But it's better than not running.
Right.
Correct.
Well,
I gotta think about that.
we can,
Okay,
Alright, so like we said, this is just a proposal.
yeah,
yeah,
Yeah, it can be adjusted, I just put it out there. Like I said, my biggest goal for the salaries is to have our base rates matching what other agencies in the district match.
so,
So that we can potentially recruit more either per diem staff or later on down the road, maybe hire another full-timer if we can figure that out, I don't know.
That is tough
Per
because
diem would be nice.
like Polly says, we offer some things that some other people don't.
right,
And then the other thing is too, once you get past Sheldon, prices go up.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's sold in the store or incomes or whatever.
Yeah,
so
I
that,
mean,
you
you
know.
go to a store here and
Yeah.
two
I mean,
Mountain Dews is
Yeah.
$4.
Right.
So-
Down there, it's whatever. I mean, it's just,
yeah,
things increase the farther you go that
Right.
way.
For sure.
what, so AEMTs and is Kelly, is your,
Kelly's a paramedic.
so the AEMT and the paramedic base rate are the same?
No, they're different.
Oh,
So if you look at Pam Scott, she's an AMT,
right,
so she's at 17. Kelly will be at 19 for a new proposed rate.
oh, and so,
Currently,
and Ginger's only at 19 because that's what she currently
that's
makes?
kind of what she does.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, and it looks like, yeah.
I feel like the chart in my head should just, here's a job description, AEMT's base rate this,
Yeah.
and not have names attached to it because it's starting
It
to,
gets a
it's,
little confusing,
it's
yeah.
totally confusing. If that's what you're going for, it's just like a base rate for a position.
Yeah, and I'm fine with
Right.
that. I just threw this out here to kind of,
Because that's what we have to take into consideration too, is based on your benefits, the rate would be even higher.
right.
So, which it doesn't reflect here.
Town Century Pumping Inspect Fire, Session 1 to the beverage galley.
thought I was gonna say armory.
Assistance in getting the water turned off. Again, such a request for you to put fire. Please respond to Beverage
341 Main
Gallery,
Street?
341 Main Street. We're in the store. Employee is looking for assistance in getting the water turned off. Special standby.
Okay.
So like I said, so if you were to cut a whole years of service, with that increase there, that's gonna drop this down quite a bit
Okay.
for salary.
Okay.
I couldn't hear an increase on what?
So what I was saying is if you were to cut out the proposal of the increase on years of service that I have in there, it would drop this 330 down, somewhat.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to look at a couple different scenarios. So if you had the base rate at 3% on top of that, what would it look like compared to something like that?
Right. And I can send you, like,
Leave a Missisquoi one.
yeah, I got it in the other room. Like I said, I've got Missisquoi's starting rates as of January. I tried to reach out to him, couldn't get theirs, and got no reply back. Richford is weird because if you live in town, they give you a stipend per shift, so.
That's how Enosburgh used to roll years ago.
Yeah, if you lived in town, yeah. So.
It'd be cheaper to build a house right next to the ambulance station, huh?
Exactly.
Got any land to give away?
So, there was another question I had.
So we're gonna go through this line by line?
I just,
Don't use to. No?
I mean,
Yeah.
is there anything jumping out at you?
Yeah, well, first of all, how come in uniforms we jumped up?
Because we got new shirts and new vests.
So how many years, how many times do we purchase these?
That was a one-time thing. We don't plan on purchasing uniforms
We
for
got
quite a while
uniforms.
now.
We got these shirts just before Robert left.
You know what, all the long sleeves
Long
and
sleeve blue
t-shirts.
ones.
And then it hadn't been a purchase, and then we made a purchase this year to get these newer shirts and vests, which the vest, only 3 vests were purchased by the town. All the others, the employees bought themselves, if they wanted them. So these t-shirts,
How about those special jackets we bought?
Those were when Robert was here.
Yeah,
The high
We still have
visibility
them?
one.
we still have them?
oh
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
The bright green one you had on the other day?
yeah, yep.
Okay, so that went down, and then
How come,
training,
let's go, well, yeah, training,
okay. Keep
Training,
it,
so I bumped
okay,
it
we'll
up.
Mm-hmm.
keep it up.
or
Yeah.
if
So-
it was why don't you go back down to 1,000?
So I bumped it up to 1,200 because what we've been doing at training nights is providing some sort of meal to people to get here, to entice them to get
Like
here.
Cookies and stuff like that.
Right,
And so what I figured was up to $100 a month. That's why it's 1,200. We did pizza.
That was when we did
times.
we did pizza for the EVOC all-day class.
Right, we
And
did
we did
pizza.
sandwiches the night we had every
but if
year
training
for
this
high
year
performance
cost you $300, then you should probably have plenty to do.
Yeah, so we weren't taking money out of the training budget for food at that time. We had an abundance of bottles here, and so we used the bottle money
Right.
to pay for
But
that.
what I'm saying is you budgeted 1,000, you only spent 300.
Right.
So it should, if you keep it at 1,000 and you're running about 300, you should be okay.
Yeah.
So maybe drop
So,
it down to 1,000.
1,000.
Postage, yep. Telephone,
How come that went down?
So then we went down.
Because we switched telephone
Switched over.
companies,
Okay.
to a cheaper company, it's,
good.
um,
Dispatching stays the same.
internet-based.
Insurance, ambulance, and workman's comp, again, if overtime comes down, that number comes down.
Mhm.
Oxygen,
Medical supplies,
or whoops,
oxygen, fuel, that makes sense. Building rent.
so what was our pop-up on the medical expenses? What was the things that hit us there?
So previously, the previous director, he was ordering individual items. So like if we would use one IV setup, he would order one IV setup. So by doing that, it's, you know, eventually you can pay a lot more if you're not looking for a cheaper thing. So what I have done is I've gone through and found the cheapest items, worked with our rep to get items down, and certain things like IV setups, so IV needles,
So then that number should,
kits and stuff. What I'm doing is I'm ordering those in a slight bigger bulk.
yeah,
Because we use them so much.
Oh, yeah.
So that number should be coming down this year. We've also had to order PPE for,
right.
COVID and stuff like that. And that was well before, the surplus opened. So, and I actually don't even know,
And the other difference is too, is that I'm doing a monthly inventory now, so we don't have any expired stuff on the ambulance.
the
It
price
used to
of,
be, like, when I did the first inventory, I was finding things that expired 5 years ago.
Yeah.
That should have been taken off the truck a long time ago.
the price of meds.
So
we've seen
some of the
drastic
inventory stuff, the
increase.
expenses is probably my fault because we're actually keeping up with it and not having stuff that should have been thrown out years ago on the truck.
The,
But you don't wanna order too much like the glucagon and.
Right.
and
Right,
that
right,
kind
and
of stuff
which we're,
expires
right,
very
right, right.
fast.
so the price of meds has drastically gone up, and our vendor has now changed over to large quantity instead of individual. So I am looking at another vendor.
Can we just maybe check with Richford to see if you can pair up with them and split some
Yep,
stuff?
so I did end up saving money on ordering IV Tylenol. So we're ordering IV Tylenol from the Richford Notch Pharmacy. They sell it to us at $10 a bottle, or $30 a bottle, and they get 10 bottles, and they deliver it to us. So they sell it to us at their cost. And they can order and have it here within the next day. And we've been using quite a bit of IV Tylenol.
What I actually meant was Richford Ambulance,
Richford
to see if
Ambulance.
they could split a case of something with.
Yep.
Some of the stuff in Richford Ambulance is Joey's encouraged to buy like the cheap stuff, so you're gonna use 3 times as much, cause it breaks on you, like the, part of the IV tubing and stuff. There's ones that, you know, if
So-
you spend a couple extra cents, you get the good ones, or you get what you pay for.
Right.
Basically.
I also-
Or you go through 3 trying to get one IV set up because the tubing split.
You're not
When
seeing
And you
it
get blood
done.
everywhere.
Before I order medications, I also reach out to Missisquoi and see what they have in stock, see if they have any extra. And so if they have, say they have extra of like Ketorolac, which is a medication, and I need 1 or 2 vials, I'll purchase it from them instead of ordering a case of
Because
10
we're getting ready to throw
from
out 10 bottles or something, because it's
Right.
not used. It has to be on the truck, but it's hardly
It's
ever
not used very
and it
often.
has a short shelf life.
So.
So then some of this stuff must be able to be purchased through the hospital, they must be able to buy in bulk.
We can't do that.
The hospital does not have an FDA resale license. We've tried through the district to get them to sell us medications, and they won't. The only meds we get through them is our narcotics and our benzos,
Okay.
so controlled substances.
All right, so oxygen, that's gonna stay the same.
Yep.
Fuel for ambulances.
Can we go back down just a couple of here,
Which one?
BJ, on insurances,
Yep,
can you check to find out what they actually have on our ambulances, because the year and stuff, if something happens to one of them, is the premium's too high, because we've had that happen before on the fire machinery. Say that we lost a payloader one time, and we had it insured for 90,000. Well, the real replacement was 70,000. They're not gonna give you 90,000. So, are these ambulances overinsured for the years that they're at? Because I know, I think Richford, they had a minor accident or something, but if something happens to one of these ambulances, what are we actually gonna get? Or what are they insured for right now?
okay, I can find out.
So we wanna keep the fuel at 8,000.
That's something we do annually with our insurance guys, sit down
Going
and
down.
go
Fuel prices
over,
are going down.
everything ages a year, so
And
they're not gonna give you, if your ambulance goes smashed up, they're not gonna give you 190,000 for it,
That's true.
so.
and I mean,
Don't be paying a premium for that.
so with fuel, we also did 150 more calls this year than we did last year. So that's why that fuel's up as well.
And we're doing more transports.
Right.
Gonna keep that
Plus the
at,
price of gas went up.
you
Yeah,
wanna
no,
keep that at 8?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's not gonna go down. I wouldn't
No.
imagine.
Not rid of, anyway.
We're gonna keep building rental the same?
Mm-hmm.
Internet and cable, yeah.
Did that go up because of the new phone system or?
The phone system will be up in, telephone expense.
Yeah. Okay,
Well, yeah.
but we changed the internet speed.
1,600?
Or something like that.
Yeah, why is it 1,600 and not 14? It looks like you budgeted,
Right.
you spent,
$200.
Yeah, the speed went up a little, that's what I was.
Okay.
oh, okay, gotcha, I
And
gotcha.
it's-
And I think
Alright.
they're looking into upgrading the equipment too.
Oh, medical supplies and repairs,
Repairs.
keep it?
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
It's only confusing.
Yeah, because the
Radio.
phones are getting younger.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, it's only a matter of
Because it's
time.
like
Right, because they put more money in that and
It's for
So
lots
if
of,
I
lots
call
of years we
blood
had
for
like rate, we had
payments,
radios and it
same.
was 000.
Right.
Then we had this, so we just started putting it all on.
Okay.
We're running out of paper.
Why was intercepts up so much?
Kelly was called on.
Yeah, we've had quite a few calls from medics.
A lot of that's with COVID, people go into respiratory distress and need certain medications and stuff. that
Okay,
Kelly can
gotcha.
give.
But Kelly, it wouldn't be
No, that was.
expenses on our
He's not
part.
available.
No, those
Oh,
are the
I
Amcare.
see what
He's
you're saying.
available, it's not
That would
line
be
is
Amcare.
zero.
And Amcare bumped the charge up to $4.25.
So do we need to bump our
We should bump,
intercepts up?
yeah.
It's something we can discuss about bumping our intercept price up too, yeah.
No,
Well,
what
if-
they mean
No.
is,
Oh,
should we
that's-
draw that
yeah.
line up?
Yeah, because if you're spending 7, you're gonna be in the hole by 2 if
If we
you're.
get more medics here,
Oh.
that would
We have
draw that
one-
down if we have our own. We
we
have
have
one now
one
who's in
hired.
training, he's gonna do some more, ride time with Kelly. You have to do, he has to do 10 calls supervised.
That's a district.
But then it's a,
But
it's
if
a
we had
juggling
more,
thing, like,
Yeah.
the call that actually goes out, where is the medic on there, so.
Right.
To be on the safe side, you probably should bump it.
That's what
So-
I'm thinking.
Go to 6?
Yeah, at least, yeah, 6. Um,
Ambulance billing, that's about
yeah,
the same.
So why
did
the
that,
jump?
yeah.
Because
'Cause you
we were
asked
unsure
for it.
about what our income was going to be. And the Comstar, how they do their billing is they bill for us every call that goes out that Andrew sends them. They only take money from us as payment on the ones they receive
Money.
money for.
Okay.
So on the ones that nobody gets any money, they don't get any money. But they get 5% on the ones that they do collect.
Okay,
So that's why.
Oh.
We had no idea really how much they were going to, because that was our first full
I
year
see.
with them.
So they bill you for
They
the
bill
money.
us,
Okay,
yes.
got you. Okay. So that means that they collected more.
Yes, which
Yeah,
is
which should
visible
be
up
in their
there. That's why
revenue.
$270,000.
Exactly.
We're not so,
Quite a bit.
yeah.
So
Okay,
basically
good.
5% of their total.
Okay.
for payments.
Legal.
But they're very good, the fact that they don't charge if they don't collect.
Nice.
Yeah. Cardiac monitors. Will those be paid off after this
One
year?
is paid off, one is this year and next year.
Oh,
So
and next year.
2024, they'll all be paid
Okay.
off.
Vermont provider assessment fee,
How come,
Yeah,
how
how
come you
come?
budgeted, yeah. well, we-
5.
Because that's based on our income. I have to fill out a form every year for the state of Vermont, and it's based on the amount of money that you make in the Medicare, Medicaid, and insurance. It does not take into account, thankfully, per capita and donations. And then you subtract, for some strange reason, intercepts. And then the formula gives you this. Because we had a lot less calls and payments last year, it went down. It will go back up depending on our runs and what we pay for.
It was based on bill book counts.
Right. Ones that we received money on.
Okay.
So should we put that at 7?
Okay.
So
No, that one won't change because I sent in the
Okay.
paperwork and that's
that's the number. Okay.
what you fill out and the formula that appears on your screen is what they actually bill you and that's
Okay.
what the amount is.
Alright, so that's gonna stay the same?
So loan from general fund payment.
We didn't pay any off.
Can we go
of that.
back up,
Oh, yeah.
Which one?
go back to the monitors there? Explain that one to me again, because are we done paying one of them?
Yes.
Okay. But I thought you were saying we're getting done paying one this year and then one next year, but what are we talking about, 2021 or 2022? We're in 2022 right now. So that 11.8 is all that's left?
Nope,
on
this
the
year,
second one?
this year and next year. We didn't make a payment last year on the 11.8. I postponed it a little
Okay.
because things were not good.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, loan from general fund. We're still gonna put numbers in here, it's gonna get paid by.
Should we try 10? Or do we, we'll figure that
What's
out?
that?
I said, should we try 10 or figure it out after?
Yeah, we gotta pay that general fund by, if the ambulance has to take a loan itself to pay it by. We gotta show some payments on this.
Right.
We
I don't
got,
know why we came up with $5,137.85.
I think that was,
I know. Is that what
I'm
we had
not
left
sure why
over?
I think it was like an amount left over and then we changed budgets and then there was an amount left over, but we never changed that line. It's very random.
Yeah, it is random.
But maybe divide 32.5 by like 5 years and put that amount in.
30,
35 divided by 5 would be 7.
60,
yeah.
65.
7,000?
6,500.
6,500?
Is that right? No. 5 years?
do 7.
6, yeah, 6,500.
7?
Yeah,
Well,
it
we got nothing last year.
And we had 5,
That's
so.
paid by, so.
what are we gonna say, Dean?
Well, and, yeah, we gotta pay that back, but we also gotta quit going minus more and more. Yeah. Too.
So let me,
Because basically, I mean, that's what covers this. The minus is the general fund, so it's almost like just adding to the loan every single year because it's not monopoly money, it's real money.
In 2024, you will have a long-term payment, hopefully.
They wouldn't be bad at this, we were just talking about Enosburgh, but this ambulance covers more than just Enosburgh, so it's not an easy solution.
Now, the dispatching fees, I know you and I were talking about this. We had discussed this in the per capita, correct, about the dispatching fee? About, the per capita rate had dispatching fees for those towns included in it.
right?
Because in theory, we're paying for our ambulance to be dispatched into Bakersfield for our service to provide to Bakersfield. But they're also paying for their dispatch fees for their first response and their fire. So their town's not paying for our ambulance to respond there, we're paying for our ambulance to respond there.
Well, it's part of our cost of doing
Dispatch-
business,
Yeah, but
and
it's-
that's why it's figured
Dispatching
in.
already-
fees
it's
are
already
the
figured in
same
there.
for everywhere, right? Isn't it?
That's
based
higher
on-
than it, like it's
I
the
listen to
price of
Gary
doing
Taylor
business,
talk about it
part
all the
of your
time.
operating expense.
That was based per call volume. That's how
I
they
think
figured
it's
that
just
out.
I think it's just a rate.
And
I've listened to
I
it at the firefighter meetings
I
all
can
the
ask
time.
Mo. I know from Mo,
I
Mo,
think
and Ben.
it's equal, I think it's equal pieces of the pie.
It didn't change from last year.
Cause I know Georgia,
It went up last year, correct?
yeah, but I'm not
There was a
sure.
huge increase in
Cause
that.
I know
That's huge.
with, I know with Georgia, like they get a dispatching fee.
Wait, how
and
did
it's
I do
divided
that?
between fire and
Oh,
first
that's how I did
response.
that.
And then Amcare has a certain portion that's key charges or something. But I have to double check.
Dispatch was the same in budgeted
Right.
20 than it was 20 and 20. It's been the same for the last few years, for
Right.
whatever reason.
Um,
That's a portion of it, and the fire department pays a
Portion.
portion, less than the ambulance.
Yeah, 'cause they have less call volume.
Well, that's it's actually not that sophisticated. It's because BJ divided
But
it by
that's the
3.
that's the coverage is for all the calls for the Enosburgh ambulance, correct?
Right.
So based
21,896.
based on if I did my numbers right, which who knows if I did, based on what we just did, and with the changes that BJ changed for the per capitas based on the contract years, we have a difference of $45,237 between revenue and expenses.
How much did you say?
$45,237
How did?
In the minus.
in the minus.
No.
But that's taking into account the
Well-
new wages and stuff?
Yeah. I took,
Right, this,
So that's-
then this.
That's including that
let me see.
negative number on the top.
Yep, so let me just double check, cause BJ and I have two different numbers. I did 86 plus 37, 566. Plus, oh, you know what it was? I didn't add in the same one. I didn't add in
Oh, Frankton.
Montgomery, or what is
Montgomery,
it?
Yeah, Montgomery.
Montgomery, that's what it was. Okay. So, I'm gonna go with BJ, so the difference is, what, 6,000? Oh, you didn't add in the 7 down here, though.
I haven't put anything there because I didn't know we
Okay.
had agreed upon a number.
So we
Alright,
should go back to the revenue side, because we technically did not go down through that.
okay.
If there's any other changes besides the per capita.
472.
Andrew or Ginger, do you guys have ideas that could add to the revenue side?
8, 2.
There's places that, there's little things that are starting to add up. So things that I see around the station is keeping the door open between the day room and the bays. So the heat from the day room is heating the bays, and then somebody turns on the exhaust fan, so you're just blowing it out the frickin' wall. We talked about new uniforms,
Right, which uniforms we won't have uniforms this year. I
um,
don't anticipate us having uniforms. Cause
the overtime
So,
is a big thing.
So the
Like I
over-
said, I'm
the
84
overtime
hours
is
in 5 days,
basically,
so.
the overtime is what basically hit us hard last year.
BJ, do I subtract
Are there,
the negative?
Right,
Yeah,
so all of them then subtract.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It should be able to still utilize, 2 members on the fire department. I know Terry was saying there was, I think, 3 members there that were looking to do some work.
Yeah, but I have to work all weekend because I'm an advanced provider.
Right.
We need to have an ALS member on the ambulance. We are an ALS provider service.
so like Ginger was saying,
And
what-
Jess won't work nights.
so what we've run into with having just the drivers, because they have no medical training, is if it's just one certified member and a driver, and they get a really sick patient, they're calling in another certified member to assist them.
Or there's nights where like Sam and we're desperate, so there's 2 EMTs on, and I'm home at Bakersfield. I'm on call. They come to Bakersfield, I'm going on that call and writing it in.
So we have utilized some of those firefighters to drive for us. We've utilized them mostly on Unit 2 calls when there's one extra person here that's certified, and we need to grab somebody quick as a driver.
So,
And that's what I've told them. I says, Unit 2 calls,
But
you know, it's great, come on in.
I think if there's any interest with these individuals, let's get them some more training so they can be more than just drivers. If they
Right.
want to do
That's
so.
expensive and a huge time commitment.
So, and it's offered to them, but it's also them being motivated to do it and want to do it. I mean, I've talked to a few of them and all they wanna do is just drive. I mean, currently we have 3 certified members that all they do is drive. And one of them's on the fire department.
Well, in their defense though,
Like, they will not take a call.
They do drive when you need them, so you shouldn't poo-poo them when they're not convenient for you. I mean, you
Right.
know what I mean? You should accept their help.
Right, which we do, but they were also under the impression that they were gonna get like 40 hours a week. I'm like, whoa, where'd that come from? Kind of thing.
Well, that's how Richford is keeping some of their prices
Yeah,
down
yeah.
because of utilizing them.
Now, how soon have we started to use these guys? Because last time we weren't using them.
Oh, yeah,
You
we
can
could.
pull some of these overtime hours
use some of
down
them.
with utilizing different avenues.
But-
I mean, like, for example, you may have to, once budget time's done, you may be doing admin just once a week and
Right.
push yourself.
Which
But
is
you also have
schedule
to,
more.
which is what has happened. Is I'm
So I've
only in
been
the
on
office.
several calls with uncertified members. And they literally have to stand back and do absolutely nothing.
We can't do anything.
So then you have a family of 5 or 6 people standing around, this person's unconscious on the floor, I have to do CPR, and the other person has to stand around because they're not allowed to touch the patient. You've got 5 or 6 family members screaming, why aren't you helping, why aren't you helping? The perception of it is horrible. Not to mention, I have to work a whole code by myself until somebody else gets there. I had to call Kelly in one night because I couldn't maintain a guy's airway while he was vomiting because I had an uncertified driver who couldn't touch anything. Never mind not knowing how to use the equipment, so I couldn't say, hey, go get me the stair chair, we gotta get this guy out of the house. Well, I don't know where that is or what that is.
They can't take vitals.
So it's nice as far as payroll and stuff, but as a provider, it sucks. And I'm sorry to say it like that, but it sucks.
$150 per
No, I
shift.
understand that, but you also take what you just said. That scenario on a second crew, that person could die if you don't at least try to get them to the hospital. You know, there's kind of weighing these things.
Right, if you don't have the
But our
crew.
protocols say there's calls where you can't just load them on the ambulance.
No, I understand that it's more complicated than I am
Right.
making it out to be.
Right.
But I'm saying a driver and getting you to the hospital with what your basic care is better than no ride to the hospital.
Right.
Should, are we still talking numbers or are we moving into executive?
I had a question on Medicare payments. We're expecting a big increase on that.
Well, I think things are looking like they're gonna go back to normal like they were in 2018 and 19, and so we projected the number to be a little bit better, just because we're hoping people aren't as afraid of COVID as, we think everybody's had it by now, pretty much. I haven't, but I'm hoping,
I haven't.
not to either.
I was gonna say I haven't. Careful, don't jinx us.
Which that's some.
Wow, it's just gonna evolve into something else again next year.
The kind of the question I was asking is is there something we can do on the insurance of the, bringing money in, as far as
Insurance
transports or
payments?
more of things
So
along
we
them?
can bump our rate up. That will only affect private insurances. It will not affect Medicare, Medicaid, or Blue Cross Blue Shield, because those are what we have contracts with through Comstar.
The other thing we can do, and I've been working really hard on it with everybody, is writing better reports, so more goes out to billing. We
Right.
have a few employees whose written reports really stink, so you can't bill for something if it's not documented in your report.
Right.
So monthly,
A
monthly
training
I've been
thing.
going through, I'm working on it in training, monthly I have it's called QAQI, quality assurance, whatever. And I go through the reports and I tear it apart and say, why isn't this in your report, why isn't this in your report? The better the report's written and if everybody's using the same language, you'll get more billing out of it.
Good.
Yeah.
Them are things that really need to show up in employee evaluations, so
Right.
maybe we can,
I mean, I can
So-
think of my top 3 report writers and I can think of my bottom 3 report writers that shouldn't even
I
be writing
would say
reports.
just raise them as much as you can. And
Yeah,
if you need a
so-
signature, here you can sign it.
So currently, right now, our base rate for BLS emergency run is $500. A non-emergency run, which is like a transfer from hospital to hospital, for a BLS is 400. An ALS, so an advanced paramedic in the back, is 800. An ALS level 1 emergency is 850. Level 2, which means we've given 3 IV medications, or we've basically an ALS level 2 is a cardiac arrest. That is $1,000. And a specialty care transport is where we have to take a nurse, is $750. Why it's at $750? I don't know. It should be higher than that because you're exceeding your limit for the ambulance. So.
Oh, we don't bill for the nurse. The hospital would be billing.
Right.
The hospital's gonna bill for the nurse, but
Because
we have
it's the
to
level
take
of care provided, you can bill for one.
Yeah.
When's the last time the price of the subscriptions went up?
Last year.
Last year.
Okay. I didn't know.
So we
What
can
are-
increase
Because I've
this
been
rate.
asking on every call, do you have a subscription? Like,
I currently
just
pay
look at that.
$14 a mile, we charge. Other services are charging anywhere between $25 and $30 a mile. So that will help. Medicare, and these numbers do not change. Medicare's rates for 2022 for a BLS emergency is $402, non-emergency is $251, ALS non-emergency is $302, ALS level 1 is $478, ALS emergency level 2, $692, specialty care is $818, and they charge $8.10 a mile. Those will not change. That is what Medicare sets as their rates, that is what they will pay. Blue Cross Blue Shield will pay that as well because Comstar has a contract with them. So they will only pay Medicare's rates. So you're looking at TRICARE, AARP, MVP, all those private other insurances like Cigna and stuff, they will pay, or they will try to pay less than what we charge. But they pay more than what Medicare and Medicaid does. So my suggestion is to bump them up at least a couple hundred each line. Like for our BLS emergency, bump it up to $700.
And what is it currently?
5. Our non-emergency, bump it up to 6, it's currently at 4. Our ALS non-emergency, keep it at 800. That's about average what people are paying. ALS level 1, bump it to 900. Level 2, keep it at 1,000 and bump our specialty care to $1,250 and charge $25 per mile.
And the other thing we can do is our non-emergent transports. If you're on duty, you take it. Whether you've got to keep the wheels rolling. This stuff about, well, I'm a medic and it's not a medic level call, so I'm not gonna take it, it is not okay. If you're on duty and you're called to do a transport, it needs to be done. It shouldn't be a choice. We shouldn't have to worry about whether or not there's station coverage. If there's an opportunity for the wheels to roll, they need to roll.
For sure.
This is Medicare.
And I think the same,
Right, so,
oh, go.
so on these rates, when's the last time they've been moved?
I believe it was April of 2019. So it's been a while.
Yeah, because we've had, inflation over that amount of time,
Right.
gotta be reflected, because
Nels,
we have the opportunity to increase that, it's gonna get you some more revenue, bottom line.
think of what Jim Cameron said in that meeting that night.
No,
Everything
everything
is
is
going
going-
up and people are getting used to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The other
It's-
thing, Andrew,
It increases, everything's
Andrew,
increasing and people are
the
just,
other thing I was curious about, I saw the annual report on the number of calls and stuff. It basically looks on how many calls you go out, looks like it's about 60% is all that ever ends up going to the hospital, is that correct? Four out of every 10 calls, you basically come back to the ambulance.
It's
We've got,
let's see
in
here.
that call count is also ones where they were like Unit 2 calls that got put off to mutual aid.
Correct.
A lot of people call the ambulance who don't really need an ambulance and just wanna get checked out.
So I feel like if the ambulance gets called and if it's up to the patient. If the patient's like, I do not want to go to the hospital.
We cannot kidnap.
Then we are not
do not
taking
want a
them.
kidnapping
Correct,
lawsuit.
exactly.
Correct.
But
We
it
don't
should
force them.
not be up to the ambulance crew to say, you don't need to go to the hospital.
No, and I don't think any of our guys are doing that.
Pause that for a
Sure.
second, because with COVID, we have been given protocols by the state to say if they don't fit this criteria, you should not transport them to the hospital because of the
Correct.
overcrowding of the hospital. So for instance, their oxygen level has to be at a certain level, if they're having difficulty breathing or not having difficulty breathing. A lot of people are calling ambulance right now because they simply got a positive COVID test.
Right.
Whether they have symptoms or not.
Right, okay. That's valid. But, yeah. Yeah. Just, and I'm also thinking as far as like liability, like if one of our service members is talking somebody out of going to the hospital, that seems like liability
Oh, right,
up the
right.
wazoo, and you're not charging for that call.
We have a state-run
Right.
form that we have to fill out if we do a no transport.
Okay.
That we've checked
And we
this,
don't get
we've
paid
checked
for
that,
that?
we've checked that.
And we do not get paid for it.
We don't get paid to do the call, to go there,
Right.
No.
assess them or
And I have
anything. We get
reached
no
out
money
to
for it.
Comstar to see if there's a way we can bill for no transports, and there is no way we can bill.
No,
The
you
only
can't.
way we can is if, and I asked them about lift assist, cause we were getting called over to Brownway quite often for lift assist, and the patient not wanting to go. The way we can bill them is if we have a written contract between us and Brownway saying,
If we show up for lift
if we
assist.
show up for lift assist,
Right.
patient doesn't wanna go, you're responsible to pay this amount for this call.
Yeah, but
And
it's a
Brownway-
private contract, it's not through the
Right.
insurance company,
Right.
Medicaid or Medicare, they're actually billing Brownway or the patient themselves directly and foregoing any insurance at that point, which
Correct.
I'm not sure, so.
Right.
And I
Way to
think-
make friends.
Right, and I think if we could build a better relationship with Brownway and educate them as to what constitutes an emergency.
Well, they're new owners,
I
so
have,
maybe.
I have been there several times where staff has called 911 and the resident is completely unaware of it and does not want an ambulance and does not want to go to the hospital. But
Staff-
because it fit their criteria or whatever their protocols, they called 911.
Staff has called because they found the residents sleeping in their chair and thought they were unresponsive.
Yeah.
And we walked in and the patient was just sleeping,
Okay. Yeah.
so.
Yeah, there should be something for that. I mean,
I think some community outreach with the new owners of Brownway.
Yep. I mean, I'm currently looking at the VLCT. They have grants out there for, safety, equipment, PPE and stuff. So I have paperwork on my desk to look through that and see what qualifies. Part of that is, the state's asking us to wear N95s on all calls now. N95s are expensive and I don't know if there's enough surplus in the state to get from the state. So there's one alternative, and Ginger has one actually she got from them. It's called an Envo mask. And it's basically a personal N95 filter reusable mask. The filters are $2 a piece. You can buy them in bulk. You just buy the mask itself. It can be washed in soap and
Showerproof.
water.
It's
Yeah.
Jabba. Have you talked to the state about the N95, sir?
I did send a request out, and they usually get back to me. They send out Friday. They usually get back pretty quick. I haven't heard from
Down
them.
the Central with a Monday night tow tone for Enosburgh Fire. Repeating it down the Central with a Monday night tow tone for Enosburgh Fire. Central
This is
clear,
actually, although this
1935.
was given to me because this kind I have to wear surgical mask over because it only protects on the inhale, so when I exhale, I could spread to others.
So
So you
now
wear a
they,
surgical mask, but now they have a plug
it
for
goes
here,
there,
and
and they
then you don't have to
also,
wear a surgical mask.
but they also make a plastic shield that goes over it also. I have not heard back from the surplus yet.
Because we're almost out of N95s now.
Yeah. I sent a request on Friday to have face masks and N95s sent to us, and I haven't heard back from them, and usually get back within a couple days. So I'm hoping tomorrow.
Good.
But this is something that VLCT grant, potentially could pay for. Also, I don't know, this
I
would
don't know
fall
what they
under,
are now, but when this was bought for me, this was $80.
it is $80 still,
And then the filters are $2 a piece.
they're $2 a
And
piece,
you can get it on Amazon.
yep. So, that's something I've been looking at, ordering, and it would be one, each provider would have their own individual one. and it's reusable. The filters get changed out if they get soiled. And then you can just wash the mask itself in soap and water or Clorox and water, so. I'm definitely gonna look into more grants this year. Last year I'd sent Sean a bunch of stuff I got for him to look at and we got nowheres.
Is the ambulance putting anything in for the AFG grant that's due the end of this month?
I don't know, I'm looking into it. But fire has, I don't know, I talk with Mark, cause that's one grant that we have to put in together.
And that's
Same
due
with the
January
LCT one.
22nd, I believe.
Same with the VLCT one. Well, the
And
AFG is all year
And the AFG
round.
grant is different this year, cause it used to be, if you put your list of what you're requesting, and they either said yes or no.
Right.
And now they'll go line by line and say yes to some items and no to others.
Right.
So you have better chance of getting things.
So do you want me to
Now who's-
redo this one with the new numbers and send it out to everybody tomorrow, Larry?
So who's putting out, who does up that grant
Yeah,
information?
It's my understanding ambulance and fire has to
We have
do
to
it
do one
together.
grant
I think
together.
they have to do it themselves through VLCT.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the AFG and the VLCT are two separate ones. The AFG grant, well, both of them actually would have to be done, fire and EMS together, because it would come under the town of Enosburgh doing the grant. And then these items would go to fire, these items would go to,
That's a grant that I think when
EMS.
Scott worked here, he missed because he didn't know that it had to be written with the fire department.
and the fire department had submitted one.
That's a huge grant. It's 80-20 match, I think.
And the VLCT grant is dependent on some sort of contribution through, I don't know, I got the paperwork on my desk.
I can see on the ambulance budget that we're going to be short in the income. Do you want me to take it out of the salary line? Or?
So what I can do is I will recrunch these numbers with just the base rate, getting rid of the additional increases, and see what that comes out to. I'll crunch those numbers tomorrow and get those over to you.
When you're doing that, tell me, I need to know what a percentage increase each one of those are.
Oh, from what they're
Right,
currently
because
now?
like Larry said at the beginning of the meeting, we do percentage for the rest
Right.
of the employees, so we have to know what we're dealing with.
Okay.
And, yeah, well, we can talk in executive.
Yeah, we're gonna go into executive.
Are you ready to go into executive, Larry?
yes.
Okay,
All right,
I'll
also move.
there you go. I'll second.
I think Pierre made the motion and Polly seconded the motion.
Yep.
Go into executive session. Any more discussion? If not, none, all in
Recording
favor?
stopped.
Big Mike say aye.
Aye.
Here's
All
the time.
opposed, say nay.
Perfect.
Approximately 7:40, I'm going to executive.
So,
Recording in progress.
as per executive session, I move to, accept the, 5-year contract with Bakersfield
For the ambulance.
for the ambulance service.
I'll second it.
Motion was made by Polly and seconded by Dean for the ambulance contract for Bakersfield. Any more discussion? Have none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Can I
All
walk out
opposed,
of
say nay.
Nay.
There you go.
One nay, in favor, the ayes. But, so, BJ, if you can get that verbiage or
Yep.
together in paperwork there and get it maybe to Bakersfield, possibly for tomorrow or Wednesday, because I think they meet Wednesday night.
Okay,
that? Is that common knowledge I can carry with me to a meeting tomorrow night?
this is probably.
Yeah.
It's public meeting.
Thank you.
Yep. And what do we got next?
Alright, so next, armory, something about, looks like camera, fire alarm system.
Okay, so a couple of the decisions that need to be made because of the electric wiring. Do we want cameras in the building for security purposes?
Well,
Maybe just your office or the vault or something.
that's what
like
I
that.
was thinking.
I was
Why don't we
actually more
limit-
concerned about,
Places you can't see.
well, not, because I'm assuming that some of the rec stuff would be taking place after hours,
Oh, right.
and, not.
Yeah, no.
I just think
I mean,
that
schools are
area
full
should-
of them,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I think
I mean,
it's
my area, yes, for security reasons, but
no, it's,
That's what Vermont can act.
they're going to give us a price on cameras, so you'll see it before you actually have to confirm, but if you want to know a price on cameras, I have to let them know so they can come up with a
Yeah, I don't
bid.
see, I don't see why we wouldn't at least get a
I
price.
think so. I mean, you can always use the Ring, but those aren't secure because they go to a different server and network,
Yeah,
so
he said these would go right to our own server and they'd stay on there for 30 days.
I think it's not a horrible
I think
idea.
it's-
I don't think it's a bad idea because we're talking a pretty good sized space
Yeah.
here.
People
Over the next
definitely could get in trouble in
several
there for
years, a
sure.
lot of things could be going on.
Exactly.
Who knows, if somebody breaks in or something.
But then the thing is that what's the library use?
Nothing. They used to have one
Yes,
outside
they
my building.
do,
Well-
public. They do.
Yes, they do, oh, yes.
They have
They
guard
have a couple
dogs.
of them, but
They
change
have
those things.
cameras everywhere.
There's 5 outside the building alone.
Armed guards. Exactly.
You gotta remember the armory's next to that parking lot too, and that parking lot is not used for parking.
So yeah, I think reach out to
We'll
them
get a
and see if
price.
they get some price on cameras. What's going on with fire alarms? When that place had,
Well, the
Is that
systems that
out
used to be in there they basically ripped most of the wires and security systems out when they left. They took their government stuff with them, top security maybe, I don't know. It's a stone building. I'm not really worried about fire so much. I guess of the building burning down.
I mean, you
because
do
the
want an alarm to
contents-
tell you to get out.
But my concern was like, if this, because I'm sure their sprinkler system, like if the sprinkler system goes off, or the heat doesn't work, I think we need some kind
Yeah.
of alarm.
For sure.
Monitor.
Well, the
Along
same
that
thing they have over
lines.
at the Opera House probably.
So I should call Sunray and get a price from them?
Is that all
Yeah.
included in the, like monitoring the heat and things all included in the
Yeah,
fire alarm
But that would be
system?
through a different company that come and do, we have it at the library, the town
I mean, once you
garage,
start
the
putting
Opera
I think
equipment
House.
in
that's a
that
great
building.
idea. Don't you?
Yeah, that type of building, you're worried mostly about content fire.
Yeah, like when you
Inside
start
is
putting
gonna
your
check out.
computers
Chimney
and your
every time we go by.
equipment, you're gonna want something.
I've been going every other day.
Does that building have a
Just
basement?
because
No.
of
That's
the
a stupid
sport
question,
and
but.
Thank goodness, cause
if
it's
there's
gonna
a
be
catch
catch
on
all.
shelter
leak or
underneath.
something.
I know.
or a
You think
corner,
there would be.
you know.
Doomsday preppers?
Yeah,
The office
right?
building was that.
Mhm.
About 10 years ago, they hauled everything out of there, and it was for that, all the stuff that was in there. You
Can't-
should have seen the pea pots that were
Really?
in the pans. There must have been a couple dozen.
Really?
Yeah, among other things. Anyway.
Okay,
Moving on.
moving on.
okay, we good on that?
Yep.
And one more thing about the armory,
Whoop.
Merrill, who is doing the floors, does not want to take responsibility about anything to do with the concrete, so did you still have Rye's lined
Yeah.
up to
Yeah, I
maybe
can call them
take them
or,
over and show them, so they can say, that's too much of a hole and you don't have any support there and
Oh,
the wall's
okay.
gonna crash in
yeah,
on you.
I'll contact them tomorrow.
Okay. And then the next thing is, what are we gonna do about town meeting?
Town meeting,
I already
I
know.
suggest, like we did last year.
Yeah,
I
same.
think so.
I agree. That's what the school's
Yeah.
doing too.
We should be uniform.
Yep, we're having an informational meeting on Zoom and then Australian ballot voting. And that's what we did last year. I think it worked well.
When I was on with Bakersfield last week, that's what they were discussing just before my turn came up, so that's what they're doing.
Do we need a motion? Oh, what?
Yes, you do need a motion
Yep,
for that.
so I'll move to hold an informational, virtual meeting for town meeting and with an Australian ballot vote on town meeting day. We can schedule the Zoom meeting at a time though. I feel
I'll
like.
second it.
Paul made the motion, Phil seconded the motion to have an informational meeting, pre-town meeting and,
I can't
all items on Australian
What did we
ballot.
do last year? Night before, right?
Any more discussion? Have none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Does it make a difference if it's on
All
the
those
31st?
opposed, nay.
No. Theirs is in
Here,
February.
abstain.
Do we wanna say this out?
Ayes have it.
That was one.
First name I've ever heard other than your mistake.
I know,
So-
what, nay.
I mean, it doesn't even have to be discussed tonight anyway. We can wait for it.
Okay.
What?
And you only had it?
Okay,
Yeah,
when we had town meeting last year with, or the informational meeting with the Zoom, didn't Sean have to get some special, had to get a special size for how many people could come in?
Yeah.
That's gonna have to change, cause the current license I have right now is up to, I'll have to check.
Up
I
to
can't-
what?
It's a small,
Jesse can handle that. He's the one that's been dealing with the Zoom people, cause I
Yeah.
don't know.
yeah, there's a different, yeah, exactly, you're right, Larry, there's a certain quantity and I don't know what. I just picked to fire this back up, I picked the cheapest option to fire it back up, but I'll take a look at it tomorrow and see what we need to do.
I mean, I
for-
think even the free option, you can have like 20, I think.
Well, the only kicker is like there's a few, cause we tried to do, we did it for our DRB hearing and there was something, oh, there's a time limit. 45 minutes, that's what it is. I knew there was some
Yeah,
little,
okay,
and the recording is funky too, and
okay.
so I think we could probably do it for town meeting and then change our
Yeah, you can
subscriptions
change it
back,
month to month.
Okay,
You
okay,
know.
do that.
so.
All right,
One other thing too about, the armory,
yeah.
heat's back on, he's been
Thank
running, he's been
God.
good. John Mercy has been, doing all of that. So there's 3 circulator motors in there. One is new, the other 2 are quarter horse circulator motors. You can't find one at all. He thought he had ordered some. They were the right ones, but they didn't fit on the actual pipes themselves. So he ended up getting a used one, slapped that one on, rebuilt another one. He's confident that we can make it until spring. I mean, we all know that that's, never say never, but we should make it till spring.
Okay,
He's working up a
Can you
quote.
order the right ones to have some on hand just for?
Well, he's gonna work up a quote, Larry, on some new high efficiency circulators, because those motors are kinda old and antiquated a little bit. So he's gonna have his sales rep from Webb's come in there, they're gonna look at it. There's a couple baseboards that have gotta be replaced too, because the pipes had burst when the heat was out, but it was a small little thing. But he's supposed to have that we should have it next meeting here,
okay,
right off, so.
good.
Yeah.
Good. Thanks, Jesse.
Yep, no problem.
Sure, helping out there.
Yeah, that's
sure.
helpful.
I can sleep better at night now.
I know when Billy Joe was like, we don't have heat, I'm like, it's supposed to be negative 20.
It was painful Saturday and Sunday. It was painful.
Yeah.
And I guess the last thing
So
is,
there-
oh, sorry.
there was one other line item here, it talked about, warning, let's see. An article
What?
on warning, I can't read it.
Well, I'm not sure if we should just wait till the next meeting to.
Oh, that,
Yeah, but it's the next one, without naming a name. I had talked to you last week about the nomination from the rec committee, and we just need to have a motion
Yeah.
to accept that person.
Yeah, I guess, so, I'm fine making the motion, I guess just in the future, I almost feel like they should come to us and explain their choice. Cause right now.
And that probably was my fault because of the
Yeah.
timing and
No,
budgets.
that's- yeah.
I just was like, we just need to get this going
Cause I
sooner
don't
than later.
know I don't have no idea what I'm
She
even
is-
saying.
Very qualified, she went to school
Yeah.
for this type of.
But that kind of thing is like.
I'll send you the,
Yeah. So I'm fine making a motion to allow the rec to proceed with offering the rec director position, I think. 'Cause I don't know.
Every motion should end with, I think.
I think.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Dean.
I'll second it.
I think.
So Polly made the motion, Dean seconded the motion to allow the rec committee to hire their nomination, is that correct?
Yep.
Any more discussion? Have none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Good,
That's all I have.
alright,
That's it?
so
Get through it.
we have, I haven't really been in this month, there's quite a few more budgets to be gone through. Fire department,
Highway.
Opera House came, right?
Yep.
Yeah, libraries.
Library and Opera House have already come, and so has rec. So we really do have fire and highway left.
So you guys went over the rack?
Yeah. Remember you said we wanna wait to the general
Some
fund.
decreases, cause it
Sugars
looked
off
like a
before
pretty
you
good
decide
sized
if you want
number
to
that they
or
used.
Right, right.
We were gonna look
Are we gonna
we're gonna re-review that on the rack.
At the end of the month,
Okay.
we'll see how the general fund turns out.
Okay. Are we gonna need a special meeting just to finish up our budgets, or?
I'm gonna look at the
No.
calendar, let me see.
I will tell you, the first one in February, February 7th, I will not be
Well,
here.
we got two more, because today's 17th, we still got two more this month.
Yeah.
I think we'll make
24th and
it,
31st.
I think we'll make it.
I think I can.
If I do fire in half of the general fund next week, and then Joey and the rest of the general fund the following
Joey.
week, I think we'll be fine. I will have to use the February 7th to go over everything final.
And we will have next meeting, the bids for the salt shed.
Yes, no, Beth, not this, the February 7th, Bethany's coming in to discuss apples to
Okay.
apples. February 7th, after
Yeah.
Du Bois and King do their thing to make sure everybody was on the same page.
That just blows my mind. I just like say, hey, can we just hire a couple local people and build this dang thing? Cause we're gonna end up paying more than what we would build it for.
It's just a big empty building, I don't understand why it's over $1 million.
No.
I am probably
It's
simplifying
the,
it
it's
way too much.
over-engineered,
Yeah,
over a
exactly.
lot of concrete.
Right.
Yeah, it's a pole barn.
But
It
yeah,
doesn't even house
I mean, you
people.
can share that information with the rest of
Yeah,
them. It was
need
three
no fire,
bids,
no lights.
I did, I sent it to Polly.
No plumbing.
Did you see the bids, Bill?
1.2, 1.1, 1.4.
I did not see it.
something on that range. About, my opinion, $600,000-700,000 more than it needs to be.
Yeah, agreed.
Did you see him, Dee?
So I don't have anything else that I can read on my agenda.
I move.
To adjourn.
Jesus Christ.
Got any cookies you like that?
Oh, yes,
We already offered you one, you missed out. Too late now. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
we do. Yeah.
Polly, I
I
moved
second
it,
it.
Polly seconded it.
All in favor?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
Yeah.
Double duck
All
area.
right.
Have a good night.
Next week.